which is awesome. And so in terms of having sweet, but being an interesting sweet, I really, these sweet bean paste in Filipino cuisine, they would be served whole in halo-halo. So it's the same sort of like sweet, but like an interesting sweet. It's like, it's not just about the sugar. And that's what I love about this dish. So in glutinous, I've got my glutinous rice here, 8 ounces. I'm going to put in a cup of sugar right on in. I'm bringing together all my dry ingredients first. Here's another little addition which makes it fun. Zest. I'm using a zest of a lemon here, but you could do lime. Ooh, you could do like, what's the name of the lemon that's half lemon and half orange? I'm reaching for it, so it's not coming to me.
I should know. Not pomelo.
No, it's half
Meyer.
Meyer lemon. Meyer lemon. Yeah. There it is. Well done. So a Meyer lemon would be awesome here. So I'm putting the zest, a teaspoon, the zest of 1 lemon in. It's going to bring some brightness to the dish. I'm just going to grab a spoon, give that a little zhuzh. And then I'm going to come in with my leavening agent. My baking powder. And I just need half a teaspoon. This is going to help with the rise. And so this is not just like your traditional ones that you guys are seeing, like come in a package, they're frozen, you thaw them out. These are actually a little bit more like a cupcake style, which is awesome. And I'm going to add a little bit of salt. I'm making something sweet. Why am I adding salt? What's the role of the salt?
Same reason you put it on watermelon. I don't know.
To cause the rise the baking powder.
I'm sorry, one more time.
So the baking powder will be, I don't know, enacted, so it'll rise.
Baking powder helps it rise. Salt is a flavor enhancer.
Enhances the flavor, right?
Yeah, it's a flavor enhancer.
Okay.
It literally, when you put it in your mouth, it makes you what? Salivate. Yep. And then that salivate, it also makes you salivate, but also your pores, your taste buds, it actually dials them open. It dials them open. So now that they're open and you've got saliva in your mouth, you've got this more, your taste buds are more receptive, and you also have liquid to move the flavor around as well. So that's why we add a little bit of salt into our dry ingredients. There it is. For my wet ingredients, I've got 7 ounces of coconut milk, 7 ounces. And typically when I'm cooking savory, I don't really measure things. I just, I'm cooking. But when I'm baking, that's when the scale comes out. So I got 7 ounces. I've got 2 eggs. What's the proper way to crack an egg? Anybody? Proper way to crack an egg?
Flat surface?
Flat surface, yes, Holly. Gold points and stars and fairy dust. Why a flat surface?
I love all those things, especially fairy dust.
You are such like a first grade teacher. I love it.
Yeah, that's about my love.
Kids must love you.
So proper way to crack an egg is a flat surface. And along the equator.
Into another vessel typically, so you don't get shell. But that whole pointer bugs me. I'm not dirtying up another dish. I'll pick the shell out, or my guest.
You know what? If the shell gets in there, use the shell to get it out. Eggs are narcissistic. They're attracted to themselves. So use the shell. And then I'm going to have some vanilla bean. This is actually a powder, Madagascar, a teaspoon. And I like to use this versus extract because I get the flakes. I get the aesthetic of that. So I'm just going to take these and whisk them together. 2 eggs, 7 ounces of coconut milk. I'm going to add my wet to the dry. And then I'm going to add some
James,
fat.
Since you guys are doing this as well, like what's happening in your kitchen right now, Brian?
My kitchen, I am slowly bringing up my simple syrup to a boil.
Okay.
I've got about 2 minutes left for the boba balls.
All right.
Can I get a
Yeah.
visual on your balls,
Yeah.
Brian? That didn't come out right. Sorry. Can you give it a stir for me?
Yeah.
My wet's going into my dry ingredients. We've got about 5 more minutes left on my tapioca pearls. Come on over and take a look. And I just added in my wet into my dry for the mochi. Here it is. You can see how big they are now. They're not quite there yet. The outsides are nice and soft, but you can see that the insides are not totally clear. The rest of that cook's gonna happen when we steep it for like another 30 minutes. In the meantime, come on over to my bowl. I just added my wet to the dry, and I'm just gonna use a spoon to bring this together. I'm not using a whisker because it's actually pretty thick. Two eggs, 7 ounces of coconut milk. Once this comes together, I'm going to add in 2 ounces of coconut oil. Here it comes together. And this is rice based, so it's really sticky, glutinous rice. Here's my 2 ounces of oil that I've heated up, coconut oil. It's probably like a half a cup if you're going to do it by volume. And that
Before you
gets
put
kneaded
that-
in a variant.
Chef BB, before you
Yeah.
put that oil in, would I be able to use that to patch some holes in my wall? Just wondering.
You probably attract a couple of things to it
Wow.
if you did that as well. But yeah, it's pretty thick. It's pretty thick, you
Okay.
guys.
You can use it for multi-purposes.
Little
Okay.
spackle,
Yeah.
goodness.
Absolutely.
My answer to is like give it a try. Let's see what happens. Here's the texture of it. We're pretty thick here. And now what I'm going to do is I've got some cupcake tins that I'm going to fill that are lined with some papers. They look like this. And nice and easy, I'm going to fill this. This is enough to make 8 mochi cupcakes. I'm going to take half the batter, eyeball it. And these cupcake tins, I actually sprayed with a little bit of oil because it's glutinous dough. Oftentimes they'll want to stick. So it's just a sort of a crutch, if you will, just to help me make sure that they get released. And you can see the actual specks on them. That's why I like to use a little bit of the powder. You can also use something called vanilla bean paste, which is a simple syrup with vanilla beans suspended in it. And I'm going to fill this with a sweet red bean paste. And like you, Holly, like it has to have a filling for me. Otherwise, it needs something to balance it out.
So where do you get your red bean paste?
It's the red bean paste is actually in your box. Again, this is from your box.
Well, my box hopefully will be here tomorrow.
It will arrive. It will
Where
arrive.
did you get it?
I got mine from a box too. Or you can go to
Amazon.
You could go to Amazon, or you could go to your local Asian market. It's fairly common. And here's what it looks like. I've just got a scooper here. This helps me get the filling exactly how I want it. Looks just like that. You could just use a spoon if you wanted to, but I'm that OCD person who's like, I want the perfect ball inside my mochi. Holly's shaking her head like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, gotta all be, proportional and whatnot.
Yeah. And then once I get this mochi down, or the filling down, I'm just going to come back with the rest of the filling, put it on top, and sprinkle on a little bit of sesame seeds. And then it's going to bake at 350 for about 25 minutes. until you put a toothpick in and it pulls out nice and clean, just like you would a cupcake. So this texture here is going to be a little bit different from your traditional mochi. But I've made some in advance. I'll cut them open so you guys can see the texture, and you'll see how it's different from like what you're probably getting at Trader Joe's. That's my timer telling me that it's been 25 minutes and I can turn my pot down. If you guys got your noodles in or your pearls in at the same time I did, your 25 minutes is up. Go ahead and turn your heat off on your pot for your pearls and then put your lid on. By now, your simple syrup should be, the sugar itself should be thawed out or have dissolved. If so, turn your heat off, take your lid off, and we're going to let it cool. And here comes the rest.
The simple syrup is thick, or is it okay that it's thin?
Can I see yours? So the texture is going to be totally dependent on what kind of sugars you used. So can you stir it for me? And so actually, it's going to feel really thin right now, Shannon, because it's hot. Once it cools down, it'll thicken. It's just a temperature thing right now. But as long as your sugar is dissolved, turn it off. Here comes the rest of my filling. I have to say my favorite type of mochi is also green tea. I like the earthiness of the green tea. There's also a kind that I've had made before that's made with a green tea or tea that's actually smoked over pine needles, which is really awesome. All right, I'm just going to clean up my edges here a little bit. Wipe my hands, and then the last thing I'm going to put in here to finish it, I'm actually going to take a little spoon, smooth down the edges just to make sure it's totally encased. Once this actually hits the oven, it melts pretty seamlessly on top. I'm just going to help it out a little bit. And then I'm going to sprinkle it with a little bit of sesame seeds. What's great about putting them on right now, as they bake, they're going to toast, which is going to give me some depth of flavor as well. And if you wanted to get really fun, you could use black sesame seeds. Seeds that have a husk on them still. And there they are. These are going to go into the oven, 25 minutes, 350. Here they go. And miraculously, smell-o-vision, what? Come on over. Here's what they look like when they come out. Two of these I got overzealous. I was like, oh, all the mochi, big, huge. And then I realized I needed to be more consistent. And so here they are, nice little cupcake. And then you just peel them back. And Holly's like, cut it open, cut it in half. Let me see the insides.
Cannot
As you
wait.
wish. As you wish. And then there's the filling.
Wow, that's
There's the
amazing.
filling.
Yum.
So
I know.
tasty.
Can you overnight those? If I give you my
Come here.
address, can you overnight those to me?
And there they are, nice and beautiful. Don't you love, when I was baking these this morning, I was like, my kitchen smells so good. My dogs are like, hey, what are you doing? What's that? Can I have some? So those are your mochis, you guys. Those are your mochis. I'm gonna hop into the chat room just to see if I missed anything. Okay, great. So, Brian, did you have a question?
Nope, I'm all good. Just waiting
Okay.
on next steps for the boba.
Okay, so right now your boba is steeping. It's gonna need probably like another 10 minutes or so, 15, 20 minutes, something like that.
Mine's still
Until,
boiling.
I'm sorry,
Mine's still boiling. Mine's still simmering.
did you start a timer when you got yours in, Shannon?
No.
Okay, my sense is that you're probably like 5 minutes behind us. That's my sense.
So should I leave it and keep it going for 5
Leave
minutes?
it go. Let it go for like another 5 minutes. Once this steeps for another 20 minutes or so, then we're going to pull it out, give it a nice good rinse. Make sure you have a colander somewhere waiting for you. Make sure you have a colander waiting, access to some cold water. So you're going to rinse it to cool it down, stop the cooking process. That cold water is going to ensure that the pearls don't stick to one another. Because what we're going to do after that, I've got some right here. Let me move my cupcakes. I've got my simple syrup right here as well.